So first of all, this is the German 30, and this is quite simple. If you go all the way back to my videos, you understand that I always start with the weekly time frame. All right, so with the weekly time frame, now that I only trade the German 30, I've realized that I only need just the morning session, right, which is just the London session because it is in Germany, right? So we're just using the morning session, and that is just 9 o'clock my time. Now I don't know what's your time, but that's the time I trade. And then the only thing we're looking for on the weekly time frame, we're just looking for the direction. All right, so what you will call the weekly bias, for me, I'm just looking at what happened last week. Okay, so last week we had quite an aggressive, all right, push to the upside. What we were rejecting this area right here from all those buying levels. All right, so the buying levels are the reason why we are stopping here to push this candle. So before this whole move happened, right, before that whole move happened, which is this move, all right, we just had that nice, we had just that nice simple candle, right? Okay, so let's see it push down now. Okay, so we had this nice push down, all right? The reason why I'm saying now we were preparing for buys for this Christmas is because we just reacted to this candle, all right? Which you guys, my lovely people, now call the fair value gap. It's amazing, great, all right? You can use that. Some people now call this a demand area. People have now switched up this whole thing and make it their own, which is great. We shouldn't be fighting each other with each other's strategy and the terms we use. What you should be focusing on is, is the markets, okay? So now there's this candle. That's why we're having this reaction. That's it. That's all I care about. Then I go to 240, which is the 4 hour, okay? Have to increase that thing, okay? Have to zoom in that chart in. You have to see what happened, all right? Zoom that chart in, open it, same thing, okay? Past month, we had a push to the upside. The push to the upside is all the fair value gap that was on the weekly time frame, okay? So this push to the downside is the reaction to cover this whole liquidity that is on this other side. That's all that happened there. Nothing to be complicated. You don't have to put FVG. You don't have to put all of those things that are on your chart. You can just use two sides. There's the left, there's the right. So this whole reaction is coming from this level. That's it, or this side of the market, okay? So we're correcting all the liquidity, which we finished. Now, the reason for that is because of that fair value gap that was on the weekly time frame. That's all I care about. Now I'm only waiting for one simple thing. I promise you, I simply can make $500 easily. Like that is like, and I don't care what it did on the 1 minute. And all I care about is the weekly time frame and the 4 hour. I'm going to go in there with 30 pips stop loss, and that's it. Oh my God, that's so big. Yes, that's how I hardly get taken out. All right. How sad it is for you to get a perfect setup and you get taken out because you wanted to use the 1 pip stop. But we're not judging anybody. That's also great. But I only use the 4 hour for everything. If I want to decrease my pips for stop loss to 20, I can still on the 4 hour. To 5 pips, I can still on the 4 hour. It all depends on the entry. That's what you need to understand. Now, the fair value gap, that's all we're reacting from. Now, what's the reason now you're seeing Nolu now using that candle? The reason is because we reacted to the fair value gap. Now, I'm just not going to enter just because it reacted to the fair value gap from the weekly. What I'm waiting for is at least a confirmation that shows me, okay, yeah, we are ready to push to the upside. Let us go to the upside. And that's one simple candle I wait for. And I promise you, you will call it an order block void. It's really just a rejection. So the only thing I'm waiting for is the rejection. And that's it. And that's the strategy. You can toss it and turn it around, but that's the strategy. You can call it what you want to call it, but that's it. And that is ICT strategy. Because let us not forget that I paid for his mentorship. So the things that I talk about, I know them, but I simplify it for myself that it looks like, you know, ABC, because it really is. If you think about how he just really used the terms, but the strategies were already there. He just twisted all around. So that is how that's how I made it easier for myself. And so back again, we are just waiting for this level. Okay, the fair value gap have been tapped. Now we just want to see a rejection. If there is a rejection from the fair value gap, there should be a push to the upside. The reason why is because they tapped on money there. They tapped on liquidity on this side. Okay, so that's it. So all you need to do, delete for you this real quick. So all you need to do is to wait for that rejection. When you get the rejection, okay, you mark the rejection. You mark that rejection to signify that that is really a rejection candle. And that's it. And when we reject, you then wait for the time to trade. You don't just, that's where the time and price comes in. All right. But for me, it's I wait for price, then I use the time. All right. So, and then wait for my time. I wait for my 9 o'clock. And then let me just remove this real quick. Okay. So I wait for the time, wait for 9 o'clock. When that time comes in the morning, I'm not doubting as to what I need to do. What I need to do is to enter. And that's it. That's all I need to do. I'm entering the fair value gap because it's rejected. The rejection to me, it means that they tapped in the 50% that they need to tap in, which is the money that was sitting on this side. Then I'm waiting for the push to the upside. That is why people have now said this is a demand area. The demand is actually the money that was left there. So that's why I'm always saying it does not matter what you call it, but we're trading the same thing. I don't know why people fight over strategies, because if you listen to people, we're explaining the same thing, but in different accents and different voices, you know what I mean? But we're all saying the same thing. So you can say that was a demand area, but someone will say because they trade ICT, they will call it a fair value gap. This is not a fair value gap now. Obviously now that is something else from the 4 hour, but in 1 week, in a weekly time frame, that was the fair value gap. So that's what I'm trading. So that's the level. Hence why you're seeing that black line is because of that. So the only thing I need to do now is to enter, right? So on the 4 hour, I'm just going long because it tapped on my fair value gap. It tapped on my demand area. And I don't just use anywhere. I just enter anywhere or use any part of the candle that rejected the fair value gap. I'm going to wait for just right below, right here, right there, right here. I will wait. All right. So when I'm waiting there, I'm waiting for an entry. Now, this is not just for anybody to trade this. This is for the German 30. I've tested this for months. All right. For German 30. I don't use this for GBPUSD because also I don't trade currencies anymore. All right. Because I make more money here, like so easy, so quick. You know, so I ended up just tweaking my strategy a little bit. That's that. Okay. So we just wait for that tap of 25% and we got the push to the upside. And that is it. That's the push. That's the 7% push. But I only wait for like 3% on a good day because it does what it wants. So on a good day, it could be 3%, but on a normal day, to be honest, I'm waiting for 1/2. All right. And if you look into my Instagram, you would say, oh my God, how are you getting the same setups each and every day? I trade Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't trade Fridays. Fine. And I would get this thing right 4 times a week. I promise you, if you follow me, you would know. So, and people were like, what, how can you tell me how you do this? Now, this is the time you can look at the video. It's that simple, but obviously I'm not going to show everything in detail, but it is that simple. If you know ICT, you would probably know what I'm trading basically. And if you're confused, go all the way down to the first videos, you would know exactly how to trade this. But this is the strategy for the German 30, and that's how we make the 1,000 at least once a week, 500 there. It's no longer that difficult because of this index is very powerful and this index is very quick and very volatile. That is why it's easy to make $500. Very easy. less than a minute, you can, because it's a volatile index. So that's it. So you can target 3% based on that fair value gap from the weekly time frame. Let me go back so that you're not confused. All right, so the reason I'm buying this, okay? 1, 2, 3. I'm buying this. The demand of this area, whatever that was left here, that is why we're buying. That is why that push happened there. And that is why people trade the demand, and that is why people trade the fair value gap. It's the same. We trade the same things, guys. Trust me. Let us stop fighting on people's comments. It is the same thing. Just know how to use it. All right, so we just wait for that confirmation, which is that order block void there, or you could use a rejection. People call it a hammer. It's the same thing, but we trade like that, this side, only the German 30. All right, it's not the German 40, but I'm still calling it the German 30 anyways. That's it. All right, so that's how we push to the upside. And now I'm just really waiting for that, again, imbalance. People call that, or some people call it the demand area. There's demand because there's money there. That's it. That's all there is to it. We're all trading liquidity. We're all trading money. So I'll use that level to trade the same thing. When we're pushing down, we are just looking for this candle, this one. That's what we're reacting in, because there's money here. So they need to tap back and come a bit up to the upside. So that's it. That's it. That's it. Don't complicate it. Peace and love to you. And cheers.